All right, hi everybody. David Fogel back with you, CEO of the Symphonina Foundation, back with another Symphonina Foundation podcast and the last podcast of 2025. It's been quite a year. I really don't know, but I think I must have interviewed more than 100 people from the symphonic world this year. It's been great getting to know so many of you. And as I say, every guest we have is special. Today we're joined by 17-year-old composer, pianist, harpist Fiona Gehrke and her mom, April, from upstate New York. Fiona, April, how you doing today?
Doing well, thank you.
We are. Thanks for having us.
Okay, what are your New Year's plans?
Nothing much, just finishing up a piece for a program.
You're going to finish? Okay. Okay. Should Old Lang Syne be forgotten? I suppose we can just say it's going to be another day as usual for Fiona there. Fiona, okay, I've listened to some of Fiona's work, and you got to hear a little bit on the way in. Fiona's already an accomplished composer. She started composing apparently when she was 6. So I have to ask, first of all, before you can compose anything, you have to play something, almost always, I think. So when did you start? I'm guessing you started on the piano, but when did you start playing?
I started piano lessons when I was 6.
Okay.
5.
5. Well, you and I have that in common. I started when I was 5 also. But I think you were not in New York when you started, right? I think you were different state.
We are originally from Anchorage, Alaska.
Anchorage, Alaska. What was it like growing up in Anchorage?
Very different, I must say. I do miss some of the things about it. Just a lot of the scenery and wilderness have greatly influenced my music and what I write about.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I've been to Anchorage. I've been there for a conference, and I have a couple friends that I've kept in touch with there. And I will say, right this time of year, it's pretty dark all the time. How did you adjust to that growing up? Was that just that's how it is, and you get used to it, or what's
That
it
was
like?
very normal coming from Alaska. There's a lot more daylight everywhere outside of there.
Yeah. As you're getting, and the other thing I was going to say about Anchorage, for all its pluses, I don't think of it as a orchestral cultural mega center. So did you find that your own calling to playing piano and later on other instruments was influenced by your family or from other outside influences? How did you find, or was it just internal? You just always knew that's what you wanted to do?
When I was 5, I told my mom that my favorite type of music was classical music. I later began composing officially at 6, and I kind of really haven't stopped since. When I was 9, we later moved to Austin, Texas, which greatly helped to further my musical world as well. I joined programs such as the Golden Hornet Young Composer Program. It's been great.
April, when your daughter comes to you at 5 or 6 and says, I want to compose music and I need a piano, did you already have a piano in the house for her, or how'd that go?
We did. We had to get her an acoustic piano when she started her piano lessons with the Alaska Piano School. She was sitting at her piano when she was 6. Shortly after lessons, that's when turned to me and she's like, Mom, why are all the pieces I'm learning by male composers?
It's a good point.
They're all, she's like, they're all by male composers. And she just kept flipping the pages, see, male composer. And I don't have musical background whatsoever. Just had to give her a brief history on how, things were for women.
For sure.
Back then. And she just sat there for a second and paused, and she's like, put her hands on her hips, and she's like, well, that's not right.
No, it's not.
I'm going to write my own piece.
No,
I'm going to write my own piece.
That's good. And you've been writing ever since, yeah.
Yep, I took a piece of blue construction paper and a marker and I started writing, and I haven't stopped since.
Now, you must have had some serious lessons growing up then to be able to master an instrument well enough to be able to envision how it would sound composing things later on for full orchestra, all those sorts of things. So how much time and effort did you put into dedicating your progress as a pianist? And then for those who don't get to see the video, she's also a harpist, and there's a big harp that's covered behind her. It's a monumentally large instrument. So how much time growing up did you put into dedicating your life towards becoming a better performer and also composer?
Well, I must say that a lot of my piano practice was mostly me messing around and modifying the pieces, despite my piano teacher constantly telling me that, look at who the composer is. You are not the composer of this piece. So that's probably where a lot of my practice actually went to.
That's interesting. Okay, so you were kind of doing a classical version of jazz because you could just take the form and improvise it from there if it were jazz.
Yes.
But okay, all right. Well, I guess there's something to be said for interpreting the composer's intent as it is, and then there's something for adding your own to it or changing it to make it your own. So both of those just depends on what you're trying to do, Fiona, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's it. So you go through Austin and you've moved to New York, upstate New York, not in the city. And if I understood correctly, you've already graduated high school by doing homeschooling, and you graduated early, and you're focusing 110% on music for your career and whatever's going to come next, and you play the piano and the harp and maybe a little guitar too. Did I get that right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Okay. And I want to call everybody's attention. So this year, the American Prize in Composition just released its results. At least I saw them released. I don't know, maybe I missed the memo, but as far as I saw, they were just released. And Fiona was one of the national finalists in the orchestral music high school division for 2025, and also third place in chamber music. So double congratulations to you.
Thank
and
you.
Then you emailed me out of the blue saying you knew something about the Symphonina Foundation. So I'd like to know, how did you find out about us?
My mom and I do a lot of research in looking for programs for me to enter my pieces in or participate in, and we stumbled across the Symphonina Foundation, and it aligned perfectly to what I like to write, and I'd already been considering writing a longer orchestral piece, and I figured that this was the perfect opportunity for it.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you stumbling across us, as you say. Just as long as the stumble doesn't become a fall, that's all great. That's good. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you compose when you complete your first Symphonina. I want to ask you in terms of your vision for your own career, and then I have a few other questions for you about young people and music in general. But for your own career, do you feel like you want to do things that would be, let's say, more traditional classical music, or would you like to go more into film scoring opportunities, TV, that kind of thing? Or you don't have to choose, maybe you'd want to try and do everything? You seem like a very ambitious person, quite honestly. So your mom's smiling. She's probably very ambitious. So what are your goals?
I do have a habit of doing everything. So yes, I do think in part my heart belongs to traditional chamber music. I love writing for orchestra, but I did also recently just complete my first film scoring commission.
Nice.
Through the Golden Hornet's new inaugural Cinema Recompose program. So I scored to a 7-minute Betty Boop film.
Wonderful.
And that was premiered in September this year down in Austin.
And do we get to see that? Is it on YouTube? Any way we can share a link with your bio later, for example, for people to go see it and listen?
We're seeing if they will release it online or potential touring. Okay.
And when you did that film scoring, I guess 2 questions. One, did you have any assistance from somebody to figure out how to go about doing it the first time, or did you just dive right into it?
I work with a mentor named Roger Neill. Amazing film composer, and he definitely helped me get my footing in film composition, since it's just such a world of difference from concert music. I've always really liked film music, and as well as storytelling, so finding a way to fit the music with the story of the film was really fun.
And Betty Boop, to me, I didn't watch too much Betty Boop, but it's a cartoon, animated cartoon, so it definitely is a different thing than scoring, let's say, for pick your favorite Star Wars or something that's an epic movie. Do you find that did you like doing it for animation? Would you like to do more for animation, or would you rather maybe move towards those epic stories?
The style of old cartoon, I have watched a lot of old cartoons. I like everything old, down to music.
Okay.
So I definitely tried to respect the feel and the original sense of the original music.
Yeah.
But also while bringing new life into it. I will say that one of the most difficult aspects and learning curves of film scoring, especially with animation, was all the tiny details and movements that you have to score to perfectly, so they all line up and time correctly. But I had a lot of fun doing that.
That does sound great. Did you have an opportunity then to go to the premiere and experience it being performed as well?
Yes, we flew down to Austin and witnessed it performed.
There you go. There you go. I'm sure you got a nice ovation and some kudos from everybody.
Yeah, we got some questions at the end, which is great.
Oh, even better. Okay. All right. No, that's good. So all right. So between film score and classical, you probably want to do it all, which is great. And you're still, I think you would say, probably learning your instruments too. Maybe not. Maybe you feel like you've mastered them. I don't want to speak for you, but I've spoken with people who were at the highest levels who would tell me they're still learning their instrument even though they've been playing it for 40 years. So how much time do you devote to playing the harp and the piano and maybe the guitar too in a regular day for you?
I think definitely I'm focusing on working on the harp. I recently, about a year ago, just got this pedal harp, which I've been working on, and I've mostly been just learning the mechanics of the pedals and how to better incorporate that, because previously I'd been working on a lever harp. Though I will say that most of my practice is still mostly just me messing around and finding new things.
But you do have some ambitions. I think we talked about before we got started on the podcast here that you would like to release an album of mostly solo harp compositions, originals from you, plus other things that you would play to layer in there. So what's your vision for that harp album that we can look forward to for next year?
This is an idea that has been in the works for a little bit now, and my harp is an electroacoustic harp. So I've also been looking into, I have a loop pedal, a bunch of effects that I would like to try, as well as getting into the production side of things more.
Okay, and should we expect like a full-length album then, maybe 30 plus minutes of music, or?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Well, as you make some progress, if you want to bring us up to speed on it, you can let us know about that. I do have a question for you. If you read, on the Symphonina Foundation webpages, the start of the Symphonina Foundation was me going to the San Diego Symphony performance 7 years ago on a sunny summer day, and I got there a little early, and I was pretty much the youngest person, if not the youngest person in the audience, and I was 54 years old at the time. And I'm thinking, okay, where are the young people? And the young people are, well, one of them is in upstate New York. And I want to know from your perspective as one of those young people, what is it that we can do besides what we're trying to do with the Symphonina Foundation to reach out more to young people, and importantly, I think also their parents, to get them to be more interested in symphonic music generally, not just, let's just say, Beethoven and Mozart and Brahms and Bach and Tchaikovsky, all the great composers who are all male, as we said, but also just symphonic music in general. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that what you're doing with the Symphonina Foundation is already a great step there.
Thank you.
In having a great piece of music in a shorter period of time, so you can get through all of these things, will definitely appeal to younger people as well.
That's great. I think we also have to figure out how to reach them better and have them not just stumble over us as they're looking for things. So maybe after we're done with the podcast at some point in the future, once the New Year's gets started, I could talk to you and your mom a little bit about your ideas, and I'm sure you must know other young composers and other young performers and so forth. It'd be good for us to network and figure out if there are common ways of reaching out to you and your parents. We'd be all ears, as we used to say around here. Fiona, it's been great meeting you. I wish you all the best, and your mom, congratulations to you. As a parent, I can say, it's always, you live vicariously through your children, and you must be very proud and happy.
We are. She's the only musical one in the family, and she's actually getting a lot of family members who are not fans of classical into classical.
Excellent. Well, if you want to start taking piano lessons, I think there's a 17-year-old who could get you started. If people want to get in touch with you, Fiona, what's the best way to do that?
The contact form on my webpage, which is just my name, works great.
Okay, let's spell your name then. Let's make sure we get it right.
Yep, Fiona Gehrke, FionaGehrke.
Okay, and that's .com, right? So you look there and send that contact. Fiona, we're going to listen to some more of your great composing on the way out. And as I say to every guest that we have, if there's anything that we can do at the Symphonina Foundation to be of help to you, just let us know. And I always mean it, but of course, sometimes you can mean it at 110%. I always mean at 100%, but for you, 110%. If there's anything that we can do to help you as a young composer and a young performer, that's what we're here for. So you just let us know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.